What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today I'm going to show you how to play a lick in all 12 keys. In the last week, I have gotten several comments in various YouTube videos asking me to do a tutorial on how to play a lick in different keys. So today I am going to do that video. If you have a suggestion for future videos, leave it in a comment below of this video. If enough people ask for the same thing, I will do a video on it. So let's talk about learning a lick in 12 different keys. So this can be a really intimidating thing, and this is something that you hear a lot from saxophone teachers. So the first thing that I would like to address that is if you are new to learning licks in different keys, I would not suggest doing it in all 12 keys. I would have that as a goal for future licks, but if this is your first time trying to do it, I would start off learning whatever lick you want to learn in 4 or 5 of the easy keys. So when it comes to learning a lick in different keys, there's a different way you need to think about it. You're not going to be thinking about notes as much as you are going to be thinking about scale degrees. So it takes a little while to train your mind to think in scale degrees. So you want to start off with easier keys at first to get the concept down. And once you get the concept down, doing this in more difficult keys will become a whole lot easier. If you try to learn your very first lick in all 12 keys, it's going to take a whole lot longer, and it'll be way more beneficial to work on several different licks, playing them in fewer, easier keys while you're getting the concept down. But enough about that. Let's talk about how you should actually go about learning the lick. The lick we're going to talk about today is a 16th note run that is built off of the pentatonic scale. I'm going to start off playing it in the G pentatonic scale. So it sounds like this. Listen again. So the very first thing you want to do is analyze the lick and see what key it is in. Now, I've already told you that it is in the key of G major, and all of the notes in this lick are in your G major pentatonic scale. So your pentatonic scale is made up of the first, second, third, fifth, and sixth notes of your major scale. So you really need to be thinking in scale degrees when it comes to learning a lick in several keys. If you try to do it by note names, it's going to be really, really difficult to transfer it or transpose it into different keys. So if we look at this first lick, we start off with G, E, D, B. If I'm thinking of that as G, E, D, B, when I try to put it in a different key, it's going to be really hard because those note names do not transpose easily. However, if I look at this lick as scale degrees, then it becomes really easy to transpose it into any key. So if I look at this G, E, D, B, I can see that G is the first degree of the G major scale. The E is the G, A, B, C, D, E, the sixth degree of the major scale. The D is the G, A, B, C, D, the fifth degree of the major scale. And the B is the G, A, B, the third degree of the major scale. So if I think about the beginning of this lick as scale degrees being 1, 6, 5, 3, as opposed to note names G, E, D, B, it becomes a whole lot easier to transpose it into different keys. So this is the first 4 notes of the lick again in the original key, which is G major. Now, if I want to transpose this into another key, like in the key of C, instead of thinking about note names, all I need to do is think about the scale degrees and then plug in the note names from that scale. So if we're in the key of C, the 1 is obviously C. The 6th would be C, D, E, F, G, A. So the 6th is A. The 5th would be C, D, E, F, G. So the G would be your 5th. And then the 3rd would be C, D, E. So the 3rd would be an E. So if you're thinking about 1, 6, 5, 3, it makes it way easier. So in the key of C, that would be C, A, G, E. Now, the more you work on transposing these licks, the easier it will be to figure out these notes in each scale. You won't need to count on your fingers to get to the different scale degrees, especially if you already know your chords. Now, if I wanted to transpose this lick into another key, this time I'm going to transpose it into the key of D. The 1 in the key of D is, of course, D. The 6 is B. The 5 is A. And the 3 is F sharp. So it would sound like this. So as you can see, when you think about these licks in scale degrees as opposed to note names, it becomes really easy to plug in the notes from whatever key you want to play the lick in. If you're a saxophone player who would like to add a whole lot more structure into your practice routine, then I'd like to invite you to come check out the Scott Paddock Sax School. In my sax school, I take the guesswork out of what to practice, how to practice, and what to practice next, and give you a step-by-step approach to getting a whole lot better on the saxophone. So if you're interested in checking it out, I will put a link in the video description. Now, one of the things that you definitely want to do when you are learning a new lick is look for a pattern. Oftentimes, licks are going to have a pattern, and this one definitely has a pattern. So you have 3 sets of 4/16 notes, and they are all descending, and they're all descending in order of the pentatonic scale. So that makes it a whole lot easier to figure out how to transpose it. So if we look at these first set of 4/16 notes, the first one starts on the 1 and is descending. The next one starts on the 6th and is descending. The last one starts on the 3 and is descending. And then we have the last part of the lick. So if you recognize the pattern, it becomes a lot easier to plug in the notes because the pattern keeps repeating. Now, another trick to learning a lick in several different keys is to break the lick down into smaller pieces. If you can't remember the whole lick, or you can't figure out the whole lick or play the whole lick easily in several different keys, then break that lick down into smaller pieces. So we already did it with the first 4 notes. You could do the exact same thing with the second set of 4 notes, the second set of 16th notes, and then do the same thing with the third set of 16th notes. So you're going to break it down, add it together, break it down, and add it together. This is what that would sound like in the key of C. So this is the first part of the lick that starts on the 1. And then the second part that starts on the 6th. Put those 2 together. So maybe you just take that part of the lick and you do that through several different keys. And then when you become very comfortable with that, then you move on to the third beat of the lick. And then you do that through several different keys. Then you put the whole thing together. So you want to break it down and you want to start off working in fewer keys. So even if you are going to learn a lick in all 12 keys, you don't want to start off with all 12 keys. Start off with 4 or 5 keys, then add a key, then add a key, and keep adding keys. If you try to do all 12 keys in every practice session from the beginning, it's going to take you forever and it's never going to sound really good. Whereas if you break it down and you perfect it in the easier keys, it's going to be way easier to learn it in the more difficult keys. So when it comes to learning a lick in several different keys, you don't want to write the lick out in all 12 keys. I mean, you can do that, but you're not really going to be getting the essence of learning a lick in several different keys. What you want to be able to do is figure it out by scale degrees, and when you figure it out by scale degrees, it's going to become a whole lot easier to memorize because you're going to understand what notes are coming and what order they're coming in. So if I'm going to learn this lick in a couple of different keys, the first key I'm going to learn it in is obviously the key that is written in, which is the key of G. Then I'm going to go to the key of C. Then I'm going to go to the key of D. Once I get those keys down, then I'll keep expanding on the sharp side and on the flat side until I get pretty deep into the keys and it becomes a lot more difficult. So the main steps that you want to think about when it comes to learning a lick in several different keys is, first, you want to find the key of the lick. Second, you want to break it down into scale degrees. And third, you want to find the pattern. When you do those 3 things, learning a lick in several different keys is going to be a whole lot easier. Thanks for checking out this tutorial. If you'd like to dive deeper into my saxophone world, I'd like to invite you to come check out the Scott Paddock Sax School.